Welcome to Freezer Milk Podcast. I'm your host, Bridget, along with my husband, Chris. Weekly, we talk about being parents, what happened that week. It's basically our therapy session to vent out everything that we went through. We are boy parents. We have 3 boys, Enzo, Rhett, and Arlo. And if you'd like to get to know us a little bit better, you can check out our website, freezermilk.com, or follow us on Instagram at Freezer Milk Podcast. We also have YouTube and TikTok, Freezer Milk. Thanks so much for listening, and we hope you enjoy. Welcome back.
Happy Thursday. Oh wait, today's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Oh man, I'm getting my days all mixed up and everything.
It's because we don't have our nanny this week.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's been a challenge, hasn't it?
Yeah. a little burnout.
Yeah, work and babies.
Yeah. It's been man, freaking Rhett. He keeps running, falling, running into things, cracking his head on the tile.
Yeah, does anybody else have a baby that'll actually, just to get attention, will, run up to the wall and, headbutt it? And then start crying?
Or the freezer, door handle?
No, yeah, he does that, or he'll run into a drawer. Oh, it's almost on purpose, too, it seems like.
Ugh. He had a good one this week. He was, backing up and, his back, bumped into the, the dresser? And it, we have,
It's a credenza in our kitchen.
A credenza in our dining room. And it threw him off balance, and
he straight up his legs went out from underneath him, and his head hit. And I told Bridget, I said his head hit the tile, and I told Bridget, I said, now I know that we're a hollow tile is, because that's what it sounded like. It just a big old, it was awful. And now he's got a giant bruise on his head. I'm like, ugh.
You try to put ice on it. He doesn't want any part of that.
No, he's not into the whole ice aspect.
What do we... Oh, I made roasted veggie. So, Rhett does not like to eat vegetables. We have tried. He's not a veggie person. We've tried. He loves hummus, but he'll, lick the hummus off the veggies and won't eat it. But I made roasted veggies tonight, and he freaking loved the roasted carrots.
Until I gave him mine that had Tabasco sauce on it.
Yeah, that wasn't very nice. That was okay.
He wasn't too happy about that.
No. Let's see. So, this week, I feel like we did a lot.
We've had a lot going on.
Yeah. So, we had a lot going on. I got to tap into my creative side this week.
Absolutely.
In, more ways than one.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was kind of a cool request.
It was, a pretty creative week this week. But I had a friend of mine that asked for some help doing some graphics for her social media on a couple different posts that she wanted to do. So I got to, break out my Canva skills and put together some different social graphics for her. And I forgot how much I enjoy creativity and that more of the artistic and visual side.
Because you don't really get to do that with your current job. It's not a creative job.
No, it's very analytical, and I'm a very analytical person. But I also had this really hard creative side, I feel too.
Yeah.
And so it was really nice to be able to do that, and I think they turned out pretty well, so we'll see what she thinks of them. But just being able to work on that was pretty fun. I think it was cool for you too to just see
how it was cool for me because I saw how efficient you were, and how you were the stuff that you came up with. It was awesome. It was good quality, and that's the kind of shit that people pay for.
Yeah, but it was just cool, and I feel I haven't, aside from some house projects here and there, I haven't had a chance to really tap into my creative side in a while because of pregnancy and babies and toddlers and
mindset hasn't been there.
No.
Now that you're starting to come out your shell, it's changing a little bit for you, and you're starting to get more creative. Yeah. It's kind of like the change in the tiling that we did for our house project.
Yeah, so we've been working on a coffee bar area because we have this one nook.
Random niche.
Yeah, we have this nook off the kitchen that's between the kitchen and the garage area, and it wasn't really. We originally thought about maybe doing a mudroom, stop and drop, lockers and a bench, but it's a little too close to the kitchen because it's right across from the pantry. So we decided to do a little coffee bar because we'd gotten a cabinet for cheap And we've slowly, over the last 12 months, started putting together the project. And I picked out this gorgeous, gorgeous black hexagon tile that was just stunning and matte black. It was gonna like just pop in that space, be absolutely beautiful. And we got ready to like put the tile up on the walls, and we started looking at it, and we're like, man, literally every piece, because of the space and where outlets are, and the window. You know, the window trim and everything, like every single piece of this is gonna have to get a cut in it.
There was gonna be a lot of waste.
So we were just like, man, like you're gonna kind of lose the look of the hexagon because every piece is cut in one way, shape, or form. Right. There's only like 4 solid pieces in the whole thing. So that part, you know, we started talking about, and you're like, hey, like, do you want to look for a different tile? Enzo and I took a trip to Home Depot, and they had not good options at all. I think him and I were there, an hour maybe? And it was the first time I left Arlo, and he was not well behaved for you.
No, he wasn't happy.
He was like, where's my mom? He was, because you gave him a bottle and everything, he was just not.
He has his moments. Like yesterday morning, he did really well with me by himself, but I don't know, the afternoons are no good.
Yeah.
You just need to do shit in the mornings.
Apparently. But it was so cute because Enzo was like really invested in like trying to look at tile with me and figure out like what would be a good one. So we went to Home Depot, and I got something to bring something home, and I looked at it when we got home, and I was like, I don't like it. Like, you know, this is not going to work. I was still so dead set on the black hexagon at that point. And then you started looking online, and you found one at Floor & Decor, which I don't think they have them back east or like I don't know where they're in the country, but they're amazing. I love them. It's like
they got everything.
It's like the size of a grocery store, but it's just
flooring,
tile, and that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Hard surfaces. So you found this tile and you showed it to me, and I was like, ooh, I kind of love it. So the next day, me and Enzo and Arlo ran some errands and went to Floor & Decor. And again, Enzo was like so helpful and so excited and like looking at different flooring, helping me figure out like the tile. He pushed the cart. He wanted to help lift the tiles onto the cart.
It's kind of nice now that he's like that age. And
yeah. Sometimes he's really helpful, which is nice.
He's got to be in the right mind frame for it.
Yeah.
But you got the tile.
Got the tile. And we put it up. We grouted it. Enzo helped me pick the grout color. And we were able to get one that matched really well with it. And I gotta say, like, I actually love that tile more than the
hexagon,
than the black hexagon.
I think it fits the space better. I think it fits the cabinets. I think it fits because remember, originally we didn't have window trim, and I decided, I was like, hey, if I'm going to use this hexagon tile, I need to trim out this window to make this look right. And then that turned into a whole nother ordeal. So I trimmed out the window and made it look nice, and then we decided not to use the hexagon tile anyway. But
I love that window trim.
But yeah, it just looks a lot better in the space, I think.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Looks good with the cabinets. And
It's a little like bohemian-ish, and I like that. Like it's really pretty. But I think the biggest thing I kind of thought about in that project was like, you know, it's okay to pivot mid-project and say, you know what, this isn't working. Like, we need to go a different route, even if I was super excited about the hexagon tile. You know, realizing like I need to go a different route.
One of the things I always remembered from an old boss that had a boat. He had a boat with a little dinghy sitting on the back of it. And on the dinghy, it said contractor. It just said the word, because a lot of people name their boats, right? It said contractor. Then he had a yacht that was like 40 feet long, and that one's name was change order. So every time you do that, you're change. You know, essentially you're just doing a change order. You know, you think it's awkward to not go, or you think it's not right to go from, you know, you had you were stuck on the hexagon tile, right? And you have trouble, I think, with the change of it because you think, and I have trouble with it too.
Because like I have a vision, and the vision in my head is what I've had in my head for a while now, and you know, it's a little bit of struggle to say like, hey, what you envision is not going to happen.
Yeah.
And the way you thought this was going to go, it's not going that way.
Yeah, and designers will tell you firsthand, like, how many times do they pivot when it comes to it? I mean, they're constantly changing things around because it doesn't work in that current application. It doesn't. It's not really field tested or trued, and like, I mean, I don't know how many times we get changes from the architects or from in the construction world. We get changes from designers. Like, it's just constant. But I think it was, all in all, it was a really good decision. It lightens up that space. That black was going to be a little stark, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was going to make that area really dark. So I'm glad we kind of went a different direction.
I love it. It's fairly pretty. But when we were talking about it and I was saying, like, you know, it's okay to pivot in the project, you're like, yeah, that, you know, it applies to life and parenting and, you know, especially parenting. Like, if something's not working, you got to pivot. And we've been struggling a little bit with Arlo with weight gain and getting his weight up to where we're, you know,
comfortable or where he should be.
Where he should be and staying within the percentiles that we want him to be.
Well, I mean, his doctor or his pediatrician doesn't say, you know, he's not too concerned.
A month ago he wasn't.
A month ago, but our breastfeeding doctors are a little bit more concerned, and they like to throw around terminology. Well, they didn't really say it, but they were thinking it, which is
failure to thrive.
Failure to thrive, which is a tough term to swallow for anybody that has newborns.
We might hear it next week at his pediatrician 2-month appointment because he has dropped percentiles from where he was at his 1 month. So he's gained weight, but he hasn't gained. He's only gained like 10 or 11 ounces in a month, which is not very much.
Yeah.
So talking about, you know, potentially having to pivot and figure out like, okay, do we need to do breastfeeding and pumping for bottles to make sure that he's getting enough? How can we help, like, you know, boost my supply? I was, you know, kind of sick for a little bit last couple of weeks, and if anyone's breastfeeding, like, you understand, like, when you're sick or if you're on your period or stressed out, like, your supply plummets. So figuring out, you know, hey, like, we're going to try some other options in the breastfeeding way, but at the end of the day, like, when it comes down to, like, you know, the brass tacks, like, we need to go formula route, we'll go formula route, because at the end of the day, like, fed is best. That's really what it is.
It's survival of the being.
Yeah.
Survival of the
like,
baby.
I'm not going to sit here and, you know, not
feed your child.
Feed my child.
Breast milk, you know.
Yeah. So, we're trying to figure it out, but being in the same, you know, mindset of it's okay to pivot from what we had planned and what we were thinking and go to something different, a different way.
Yeah, you have a visitor coming out to stay with you.
I do. My cousin's coming.
We're probably going to get him on the podcast again.
He was a guest on our podcast. He was our first guest almost a year ago now.
Yeah, we'll get him on the podcast. He's getting married.
Yeah.
So he's eventually going to be having some kids of his own.
Hopefully.
He's coming out here to meet Arlo for the first time, which we're all excited about because we love having him. Love having Chris out here.
He's amazing. He
is. He's great with kids. Like, you can just tell when some people are just naturals when it comes to kid handling and stuff like that, and he's just one of those guys. He just knows exactly what to do.
Oh, absolutely. He's fantastic at it. So I'm excited for him to meet the baby, the newest baby, and Enzo and Rhett will be very excited, you know, to hang out with him and see him too. You want to switch sides?
Yeah, he wants Rhett and Enzo to be the ring bearers at his wedding.
Yeah, I think he decided just Enzo because Rhett's only going to be 2.5.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would try.
It's like a formal ceremony, though.
Yeah, screw it. We need to lighten it up a little bit.
Hey. Arlo. I'm the baby. Gotta love those baby squeaks.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're just kind of working through the having a new baby, having a 2-year-old and 8-year-old, and just a lot of things are changing every day for us, I think.
Rhett's really turned some corners this week with Arlo.
Yeah, he's hitting some milestones for sure. He's definitely doing a lot better as far as handling, and he's still struggling with the fact that Arlo gets to breastfeed all the time and he doesn't. But I mean, all in all, he seems to be doing quite a bit better.
Today it was so cute. We were at the breastfeeding center, and they have like a little like baby doll there.
Yeah.
And he like put the baby doll in the baby carrier and then put a blanket on the baby doll, which is exactly what we do with Arlo. Mm-hmm. It was so cute, and he was so proud of himself for doing it.
Yeah, and we were noticing how well behaved he was when he went to the doctor's office. I don't think it's always going to be like that, but I'll take this win.
Oh, for sure. He's also gotten really good about, he likes to lay down if Arlo's laying on the little like play mat.
Yeah.
With the like, stuff hanging down from it.
He lays down with him.
He lays down next to him. It's so cute.
I think he's getting used to him. Again, he's still struggling with the breastfeeding thing, but I think with time that'll get better.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope so.
Change of thought here, but what happened this morning? You were sleeping, and we were having some pretty bad storms out here, like the rest of the country. I mean, bad storms for us. We had high winds and stuff like that. So I kept going out to check my trash cans, make sure my trash cans hadn't tipped over. And I walked outside, and in front of my driveway is just mounds of dog shit. And I'm like, and it's on the sidewalk. Like I'm like, it's
like this dog don't get me wrong. 6 times while walking.
Don't get me wrong. Like I love dogs, and I'm not
We've owned dogs.
I've owned dogs. And I get it, but at the same time, like, my kids play out there, like, I gotta drive through it,
right?
Or I gotta pick it up myself.
We're gonna track this into the garage, because it's gonna get on our vehicle, like on the tires, and get tracked in the garage where our toddler is. No.
So, naturally, I went back and checked all of our cameras to see if I could figure out the culprit, which I was able to do. And you woke up and you're like, how you doing this morning? And I just went off on a tangent because I was freaking heated.
Fired up.
I was not happy about it. And you went through and checked the video, and we had a good laugh about it, but we're like, hey,
like it needs to be addressed.
I had a pretty good understanding of who it was and who had done it.
Because the dog's recognizable. But
I wanted to make a point. So you put together kind of a Facebook post, essentially, that just called out, not necessarily the individual, but just said, hey, please pick up if you're going to walk your dogs, make sure you're picking up your dog poop, and then you had the video showing the individual walking the dog. And you got a text immediately from our neighbor. Who was like, he's like, I hate it when this stuff happens or whatever. He's like, I was reading through your post, and I was thinking to myself, man, like I really hate this stuff. Like when this happens, this is horrible. It's disgusting. People need to clean up. And then he goes, I saw the video and I was like, oh shit, that's me. So he recognized himself and his dog from the video, and he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And
he was out there in like 5 minutes with like gloves and a trash bag and like Clorox wipes.
He's using Clorox wipes, sanitizing the concrete. I was just, it was very interesting. I was extremely frustrated because I didn't know that if the individual was gonna like cop to it, even though I had it on video. But he did. He was like, hey man, like, I'm sorry.
I didn't say like on my post
but we didn't shame anybody.
I was just like, hey,
just make sure you're picking up after your dogs if you're gonna walk them.
Pick up after your dog, please. And like, if this was you and you recognize yourself, like, if you can please come pick this up, that would be great. So we don't have to like drive over it and like track it into the garage where our toddler like walks around and could get it into it on his feet or anything like that. And please and thank you in advance.
Yeah, and sure enough, he was like, oh shit.
So he originally like owned up to it on the Facebook post for our little like neighborhood, but as soon as he like took care of it, like I was like, I'm not trying to like publicly shame somebody, so I deleted the video and the pictures and just put an update on the post saying like, hey, update the owner, like thank you so much for like addressing this immediately and taking care of it, really appreciate that. So then he deleted where he owned up to it in the comments. He was all, Fuck that.
I'm not getting fucking
reamed out by everybody.
So that was the morning.
Yeah, you were heated, and I was like, "How's it going?" It's terrible. Oh, okay, what happened?
It's just frustrating. I mean, I can go out there and pick up the dog crap, but I shouldn't have to.
No, and you don't you had a toddler and a baby, you don't know what kind of
disease. I mean,
worms,
worms and shit like that. It was a puppy. Essentially. So
it's just that you don't want to deal with that.
This is just the stuff you have to deal with as a homeowner.
Yeah.
And a parent, you're just constant. This is stuff I never would have thought about when I was younger. I never would have thought about any of this. And now that I get older, I'm turning into that old guy.
You realize that was the fourth thing in the last week that's been legit poop related you've had to deal with.
I feel like I'm turning into that neighbor that everybody's like, why is he so grouchy and picky about stuff?
Didn't you say Rhett pooped everywhere the other day, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then something else.
Man,
Enzo's poop didn't flush down.
Yeah, he didn't clear the toilet properly. You were going through your stuff, and the baby had pooped a bunch of times, or Rhett had pooped a bunch of times, and I was just...
And Rhett got poop on his clothes or on something, and you were
he had a blowout, and it was just a poop-filled day, and it was just... It's not... I don't do good with other people's bodily fluids.
No.
I'm not very good about that.
No.
So to see a lot of that, or to deal with a lot of that, just fucking really grinds me. It's very stressful.
You're like, I'm being haunted by poop.
But
that's funny.
It's just, a bunch of shitty situations. Huh?
Other fun things about being a homeowner. You got to fish out cherries out of the pool this morning.
Oh yeah, we had some crazy wind that we don't normally get, except we have a vortex in our backyard. It's a straight shot, and there's no buildings, so it's just
because everyone's backyard's lined up.
It's like an breezeway or an alley effect, and it just hammers. And my chairs, my patio furniture just flies into the pool. I come out, and it's pissing rain. It's
cold. In the deep end.
Yeah, it's pissing rain. It's cold. I mean, you're talking about water that's 50 degrees, 40 degrees. Yeah. Man, I was just man, this is a morning. I should just take today off. I think I'm gonna take a mental health day.
Right between dog poop and then pool.
That was just enough.
Furniture in the pool.
I hadn't had enough coffee at that point. I was just
I'm not driving to get coffee.
I don't know. I think this is just kind of the stuff we deal with.
It is.
Well, we appreciate you guys listening to us, and we'll wrap it up here.
Don't be afraid to pivot in life. It's okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. You can check us out at
freezermilk.com
or Instagram.
Freezer Milk Podcast.
Until next week, guys. Thanks.
Don't forget, parenting is a trip. We are all here on the journey with you together. Thanks so much for listening.